All right. Um, so this is one book that I've been reading recently. It's called Man's Search for Meaning, and I find it to be like genuinely one of the most impactful books I've ever read. It's by Viktor E. Frankl, and it's to put it short, it's about Jews inside of the concentration camps and their search for meaning inside of a place where they're being belittled so incredibly. Um,
Yeah.
and what he says is that when people search for meaning in their lives, when people go out in trying to find an advanced purpose in their lives, they shouldn't rely on praisal of other people. They shouldn't rely off of materialistic things. This includes wealth, fame, power, even like women or a sexual partner. Uh,
Right.
they're considered material things to an extent. Uh, but what's your take on this? How do you think you find meaning in your daily life?
Yeah, going back to the man's search for meaning. Viktor Frankl's profound exploration of man's search for the meaning in the face of suffering and adversity. It offers like a meaningless reminder that we can find purpose and hope even in the darkest of times. And that's what you have to like realize with life. It's like even when you're down, you can still find meaning in it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like it shouldn't just be that shouldn't be the end.
yeah, and I'm pretty sure there's a quote from Plato, and it's I might butcher it completely, but it's something along the lines of, no matter what problems you're going through, it's along these lines. There's always someone who's going through worse, and what
Right,
you gotta
right.
accept is that if these people are going through problems, I'm not going to let this weigh me down. I'm going to have an advanced life. I'm going to have a life that gives me full purpose. Because the thing that isn't going to keep you alive and happy is wealth and I guess temporary happinesses, but just having an advanced purpose, no matter what adversaries you have, no matter your current
Right.
condition, and there's a part in the Moore's hierarchy of needs, self actualization, the highest point, and I think part of that is finding your meaning in your daily life and finding your objective goals and truly completing your mission. I think that's one of the biggest and most profound objectives of humanity.
Right. Yeah. And yeah, that's just how it should be. Because in today's day and age, it's like if like these young people, they have a down day and like that's their whole personality. They make no effort to get themselves out of their situation,
Yeah, it's
and it's just a testament to today's society and how far gone we've gone from the previous generations.
yeah. I mean, of course, change is going to happen naturally, um, but I think it's a lot stronger that or I think it's a lot more profound now since we have all these technological capacities that we can kind of use to cope off of our issues. When what we truly need is to have a more advanced way of thinking and having a more advanced um, way to go out to our daily day lives. I'm pretty sure Hamza and a few other self improvement coaches have said what you need to do is the night before or whatever that may be, like just get a plan of what you want to do day to day. So you can have these objective goals and give your life complete meaning, right? So if I was to do nothing all day and completely live in the moment, it could work, but it's nowhere near as effective as having goals. Now, I don't think goals should be set at a certain time hour. Like I'm going to meditate at 9 o'clock. I think it's more of it should be inputted in the daily life rather than just a spontaneous random click of doing these actions.
Right. Yeah. That's just like how it should be, rather than. Sorry, I'm a little bit sick today.
Yeah, same with me. But yeah, I'm gonna go back to what you were saying earlier. Especially in the modern day, I find that people have grown a lot weaker. I mean, we can expect a change, and it's natural that people will become weaker as we don't really need to be as strong anymore. It's still helpful to have some strength and have a little bit of stoicism inside of you, but I think it's more important that we have a purpose and advanced meaning in our life rather than going out day to day doing the same random crap, right? Like, uh, something that's repetitively taught inside of this community is work and having a truly, I guess, fulfilling job. Which, sure, it's nice to have a good job, but it's not what's going to give you meaning. It's all just a piece of the larger puzzle, a piece of the more abstract ideas of life. And you won't find fulfillment. This is another false intuition of our minds. You will never find fulfillment off of one thing alone. You will only find fulfillment through many things. Let's say if I was to do one thing all day. Let's say I was a carpenter and I cut wood all day. That would fill up a piece of the void in my consciousness, but it wouldn't fully complete it. I need other instruments and other parts in my day to fully fulfill my life and to fully have an advanced purpose. So, real quick, like, what do you think you've done with your days? How do you think you've modified it to give you more purpose?
More purpose, man. I've just been putting more time and effort into like the small things in life. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
like working out. I used to just think that's a little bit gay, but like nowadays, it's like you gotta realize it's your body, and it should be at the highest potential it can be.
yeah. I mean, that's
That's
true.
that's
Because it's not, as I said earlier, it's not the more large things. It's all the small things brought together that give our life full purpose and meaning. Um,
right.
but so a few things that I've done to revolutionize my day-to-day life. I think meditation has helped out a lot. It's helped me become a lot more present. And a little trick, I occasionally actually not occasionally, a ton of times I get off of this. But whenever I'm breathing, I'll count one when I inhale, two when I exhale, and then I'll go all the way up to 10 and go back down to fully increase the amount of presenceness that I have. And I think presence is another part inside of having an advanced meaning. And along with meaning, I think common false intuition is that you have to do. So this is mainly at the pointed at the Catholic faith. I had a debate with someone a while ago, not posted on my YouTube channel, but a while ago outside of this about this issue. It was that you need to follow the virtues in order to flourish. The virtues are fortitude, um, generosity, like all that stuff, right? And I said you don't need that stuff to have a full life of purpose. You could technically just go out with your day-to-day things and you won't completely flourish, but your life will still have meaning. If you see it on the grander side, like, oh my God, look at how small I am, look how insignificant I am compared to everything else in this grand world, then you'll never find true meaning in your life. But what you have to do is you have to anchor yourself down to the smaller things and understand that, yes, your life is very small, but that's what gives it the most purpose, right? That you're so insignificant that you can do pretty much whatever you want, and it all just be eclipsed by larger issues.
Damn, you're right. I never thought of it like that.
Yeah.
It's mostly because of the brainwashing in today's school system. Now, Hamza has spoken on it, but I feel like as an American, I've seen it firsthand, and it's no good.
Yeah, I agree. To an extent, I think I have had teachers, especially in the high school I go to, that are very, very uplifting and very positive for me. Like my English teacher, for example, in freshman year, I think he was likely one of the greatest teachers that I've had in my life, in the sense that he was like, hey, stop taking yourself so seriously. Not everything in life has to have a purpose. Just kind of go along with it, right? But then I've had other teachers who would punish me for my obnoxious, or what they would call obnoxious, or I don't know how else to put it, but they punish me for being different, right? And I
Right.
think especially in modern society, people should be encouraged to be different, because if we're all the same, that is likely what leads to insanity. In fact, the definition of insanity is doing the same exact thing and expecting different results. And if that is exactly what we think is going to happen, if we think, okay, I'm going to act like everyone else, I'm going to, quote, fit into society, then what will end up happening is you will have no differentiated identity, right? And the self that you've become is the same as everyone else with the same results. And the fact that we are expecting different results, the fact that we are, I guess, want to get more money, that we want to get better women, or anything of that sort, generally it's not healthy for us. We just need to have differentiated identity and a different approach of life. We need to say, hey, I want to be different. I want to have my own identity. I want to have my own purpose. That is what will give our life complete meaning and will fully fulfill ourselves.
Right.
So, I just want to ask real quick, do you think you fit in with a larger society, or do you think that you're, I guess, different?
I mean, I live in America, and I'm black, so that kind of makes me different in a way.
Yeah, yeah.
Especially since I live in a really like white state, like you kind of stick out more.
What state are you from?
South Dakota.
Okay, yeah, I'm Maryland, so we're like two separate sides of the spectrum. But
Yeah.
back to what I was saying. I think our identities. I think we are taught that difference is, but that difference is fine. But it's a different type of difference, right? If we were to go back, I guess maybe around 100, no more than that, like 400 years ago. If you were anything that was not accepted in the cultural norm, you would likely be outcasted. But if you had different like viewpoints, that would be fine. But like, let's say you were LGBTQ or trans, they would do a terrible thing and they'd likely kill you or something of that sort. And I think that would be a problem at that time. But I think that an issue with modern days, you can't have different ideas. It's kind of been exchanged like, hey, we can accept people, but we can't accept ideas. And I think for an ideal society, we need both together to create a healthy society and a healthy dynamic as well. And I'm pretty sure Socrates, he's highly into people need to be educated. The people need to have a voice, especially the educated people. And if we have the government with the amount of power that it has, influence the people to this much of an extent, the people, they will have control over what the people think. Right, so it's important that people can have their own views. It's important that people have their own identities so they can contribute to a much more grand society. And we need to have almost an exception of these views to input them into our day-to-day life.
Right. And yeah, with today, it's like I can tolerate gay people, but like if you're like doing like the flag dance shit, like I can't get behind that.
I mean, for me at least, I'm really indifferent about it. I think if you have pride over your culture, it's cool with me, right? But I think I just don't think it's healthy that ideas have been sensitized, especially in places like China, right? You see these people being murdered for having differentiated views from the CCP. You have people being murdered for going out, like there's this tennis player, I'm blanking on her name, but she was abducted because she said that she had been assaulted by a Chinese politician. And when the government controls the people, when the government has that much of an influence over what the people think and do, it does not create a healthy dynamic. And even when we're saying in ideal society, so yeah, people need to be controlled. I'm forgetting John Locke's rival, whatever his name is, Thomas Hobbes. Thomas Hobbes, that's what he thought. He thought that people need to be controlled. When, however, people need to be encouraged to have differentiated views, like John Locke said. People need to have a larger contribution to their society in order to have that complete dynamic. And it's highly unhealthy for there to be a Leviathan and something with such large control over a country, whether that be one man or an aristocracy where there are many, right? Because that'll just desensitize the people. And democracy, it works, but only when the people are educated and are able to contribute their own views to society, which will give their lives a larger meaning.
Mm-hmm. That's like, yeah, it's like with our ideas, we have to like bring them together in order to like have life work because like the whole point of us going building boats and stuff and going to different countries is to get ideas from each other. And I just feel that like yeah, we need to spread our ideas to each other.
Yeah. And I'm going to piggyback. This might be a little bit far fetched, but I think the Industrial Revolution has gotten rid of a lot of the meaning that we have in our day to day life. Especially, so let me put it this way. About 2,000 years ago, if you were in a tribe and you slayed the mighty boar, or you did something like that, you would pretty much be praised and everyone would uphold you. Your life would have such strong meaning through the approval of other people, which isn't healthy. But it's still better than now where other people are. It seems like their accomplishments are so much greater. Like, look at me. I have these millions and millions of dollars while you make pretty much nothing compared to me. And the expectations that we're expected to hold through others and ourselves are terribly unrealistic. Whereas 2,000 years ago, and when we were a lot smaller before the Industrial Revolution, the expectations that a society would push onto their people were a lot more realistic and attainable, rather than expecting ourselves and other people that we need to do these large things. Because let me put it this way. You're never going to see on your YouTube feed, and you're never going to see anywhere, like on social media, someone that is small. Like, I mean, I guess every now and then, but someone that is small or you're not going to see more of the people that are small. You're only going to see, for the most part, the people who have insane amounts of followers and insane amounts of money, right? And it's very unhealthy that that a society would push onto its people. You need to meet these expectations. You need to be a millionaire. You need to be X tall. You need to do X every day. You need to make this amount of money. You need to have this amount of women. When it's really up to the self and a smaller society to create a healthy dynamic rather than a grand global society.
Right, yeah. And yeah, there's too much like expectations held for all of us nowadays. Thanks to the rise of social media. And like I open Instagram, I'm seeing ass. I'm seeing big niggas, right? Like it's like I'm constantly comparing myself to other people when it normally should be just a couple people you're comparing yourself to.
Like, I think it's healthiest to compare yourself to friends. I mean, it might not create a healthy dynamic, but if you compare people, if you compare yourself to people your age and are in your social circle, you will have the healthiest relationship with yourself. And if you compare yourself to people you see on social media, all the rich, all the famous people, you will ultimately feel that your life is insignificant, and hence you will think that your life is meaningless. I guess to wrap this all up, we're about 18 minutes through. In order to have an advanced meaning of life, one needs to, have a social circle of people to compare themselves to and to gain experience from. Two, have a job and multiple occupations to actually take up time and make their lives feel meaningful. And for three, not feel all dug down from the small things in life, but rather to escape from the trenches that they're being held from, and to rise up and say, hey, we need a better life. We need a more advanced life, and we need more advanced thinking to contribute to the larger society and our individual lives. Would you like to add anything on top of that?
No, I think you summed it up pretty good.
All right. That's all I'm gonna do for today. I'll send you the video once it's done, and have a nice night, man.
Yeah, you too, dog. Thanks,
See
man.
you.